You think the problem is that you're not doing enough, but that's the exact belief that's destroying you. You wake up tired, you work all day, you chase goals, you stay busy, you tell yourself it'll pay off eventually, and yet nothing feels different. You're moving, but you're not moving forward. You're busy, but you're empty, and deep down, you know something is wrong. Here's what nobody tells you. The belief that more effort equals more progress is a trap. It's not that effort doesn't matter. It does, but you've been taught to worship it. To believe that if you just keep pushing, grinding, hustling harder, eventually the life you want will appear. And that belief is quietly ruining you. Because you're confusing motion with direction. You're doing a lot, but are you doing what matters? Or are you just doing what keeps you distracted from the uncomfortable truth that you don't actually know where you're going? Most people spend their entire lives in this state. They're not lazy, they're not unmotivated, they're just locked in a cycle of meaningless productivity. They complete tasks that don't lead anywhere, they fill their calendars to avoid the silence, they stay busy because being still feels like failure. And the scariest part? Society rewards this. You get praised for being busy. You get respect for working late. You feel noble when you're exhausted. So you keep going, you keep pushing, and you never stop to ask the one question that could change everything. What am I actually building toward? Not what you think you should want, not what looks good on paper, but what actually makes you feel alive. What actually matters when no one's watching. What you'd choose if you weren't trying to prove something to people who don't even care. Here's the truth. Most of your effort is wasted. Not because you're doing it wrong, but because you're doing the wrong things. You're optimizing a life you don't even want. You're climbing a ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall. And the belief that more effort will fix this is the exact thing keeping you stuck. Because the problem isn't effort, it's awareness. You don't need to work harder, you need to see clearly. You need to stop. You need to sit with the uncomfortable reality that maybe, just maybe, you've been running in circles this whole time. And that realization is terrifying because it means all that effort, all those late nights, all that sacrifice might have been for nothing. But here's what happens when you finally face it. When you stop worshiping effort and start questioning direction, you realize that the life you actually want doesn't require more. It requires less. Less noise, less performance, less proving, less of the things you're doing just to avoid feeling like you're not enough. You've been taught that you need to earn your worth, that rest is laziness, that stopping is giving up. But none of that is true. The belief that you have to constantly be doing something to matter is a lie. And it's not just exhausting you, it's stealing your life. Think about it. How many hours have you spent doing things you didn't care about just to feel productive? How many times have you said yes when you wanted to say no? How many goals are you chasing because you think you're supposed to, not because they actually light something up inside you? This is the trap. You're living someone else's definition of success, and you're working yourself into the ground trying to reach it. But even if you get there, it won't feel like you thought it would, because it was never yours to begin with. So what do? You stop. You get honest. You ask yourself what you actually want, not what sounds impressive. You let go of the belief that more effort will save you, because it won't. Effort without clarity is just noise, and you've been making a lot of noise. The shift isn't about doing more, it's about doing differently. It's about building a life that doesn't need constant effort to feel meaningful. A life where rest doesn't feel like failure, where stillness doesn't scare you, where you're not always running from the fear that you're not enough.
And here's the hardest part. You have to be willing to disappoint people, to let go of goals that no longer serve you, to admit that maybe you were wrong about what you wanted, to stop performing and start living. That terrifies most people because it means stepping off the treadmill, and the treadmill is all they know. But once you do, something changes. You stop feeling so tired, not because life gets easier, but because you're finally moving towards something real, something that's yours, something that doesn't require you to betray yourself just to keep up. The belief that you're not doing enough will follow you forever if you let it. It'll whisper in your ear every time you rest. It'll make you feel guilty for enjoying anything. It'll convince you that you're falling behind, that everyone else is ahead, that you need to do more, be more, prove more. And it'll never stop, because it's not based on reality. It's based on fear. And you can't outwork fear. You can only face it. You can only see it for what it is, a lie that keeps you small, a belief that keeps you trapped, a voice that will never be satisfied no matter how much you give it. So maybe the real question isn't what you need to do. Maybe it's what you need to stop believing.